Hi, I'm Shevakar.
And I'm Robert Browning.
We work with HeartMath and oversee HeartMath interventions for hospitals, bringing resilience to healthcare workers inside hospitals. We define resilience at HeartMath as the capacity to prepare for, recover from, and adapt in the face of challenge, adversity, or stress. And certainly with COVID-19 in the healthcare world, we are encountering plenty of that right now. Plenty of the need for resilience. The U.S. Navy adopted this definition of resilience and implements our tools, techniques, and strategies based on 30 years of evidence-based peer-reviewed research. And we want to address resilience in this video as it relates to teaming and working together, which of course we are all needing to do in the healthcare space right now.
And it's quite a challenge with the compounding stresses and anxieties and fears and uncertainties. Often it can throw our physiology into a survival mode. So when that occurs, it can proliferate things like isolation. The breakdowns in communication and teaming become much more apparent. So we want to explore how do we bring that balance back to our individual nature and how that directly relates to how we relate to one another.
It's absolutely natural in the face of a crisis like this for everyone, including those of us that are healthcare providers, to go into a fight or flight response. The challenge with that is that it creates a cascade of events inside us physiologically that not only make us more vulnerable immunologically to disease, but also create breakdowns in communication. So when we go into a fight or flight response, or the colleagues around us are, it shuts off the verbal communication centers of the brain and activates a chaotic pattern in the heart's rhythm. That chaos then can cause us to enter a kind of prey-predator physiology in which we perceive everyone and everything around us as a threat or in our way. And then in that stress physiology, it's natural to communicate more abruptly. And for those of us on the receiving side of those communications to feel defensive or offended. And that creates separations in teams that, if we don't stay on top of, can then compromise safety for us and for our patients. So it's a time in the middle of this mass stress, what in the military they call VUCA, or volatile, uncertain, chaotic, complex, and ambiguous times, like in the middle of a battle, that we give each other a lot of latitude and a wide berth, that we don't take it personally when we're snappy with one another or hold on to a grudge or feel offended, but just recognize, hey, we are all under a tremendous amount of pressure. And when we click into survival mode, it changes the way we communicate, but that doesn't mean anything long-term about how we truly feel about each other or value one another. And one of the most effective ways that we can communicate together when we're linked arm in arm in survival mode, facing a mass crisis, is to simply pause in the heart. Even if we can't pause our activity, to pause our judgment of what's happening in the heart by focusing our attention in the chest area. Imagining the breath is flowing in through the heart and out through the heart. If we can hold an attitude of latitude, a wide berth of compassion for self and other, as we breathe in through the heart and out through the heart, then what we found to be effective in these crisis scenarios is simply to reflect back to the other person the experience you hear them having. This prevents you from taking it on and into your own physiology as secondary trauma. But it also works a bit magically, to me, in the physiology, in that the part of the brain that communicates and the part of the brain that hears are two different parts of our neurophysiology. So when you mirror back to another person their experience without trying to fix it, solve it, judge it, change it, simply to mirror them and receive them, it actually begins to produce more physiological coherence inside their own system. The part of them communicating hears themselves. And that internal coherence begins to bring order into a chaotic environment, like a VUCA crisis environment. It also can help, as we said, protect you from receiving secondary trauma and bring more order into your own system so that you stay centered and poised as you're moving through a crisis.
And one of the additional tips to doing that is while you're breathing through the heart area and mirroring the essence, to make our most sincere attempt to appreciate one another. Appreciate that everyone's trying genuinely in that moment the best that they can. And that attitude of appreciation while breathing, that can help sometimes refine the essence in which we mirror in one another. It helps stabilize a coherent shift in the heart rhythm patterns. It helps provide a little less wear and tear in your own body and your own self-care mechanisms. So conjoining the breath, essence listening, and appreciation. And the
mirroring and reflecting.
Absolutely.
It can save you a lot of energy personally, and it can help your team work together, which creates more safety for you and for all. We're so grateful to your heroic response in this pandemic, and we're here to help. If you need some extra support, you can email us at destress@heartmath.com. That's DESTRESS @heartmath.com. And we have coaches standing by to help you and support you while you're out there supporting the human family in this crisis. Take good care.